coin.
I'm going to bring in Mr. Patrick Hipple from the Osborne Mint. He's coming in now to join us. We're going to talk about some things. Sir, great to see you. Ever since I've been coming to the coin show, I've always linked up with, the Osborne Mint. I'll never forget my first purchase with Osborne Mint. We'll get into that in a second. But I promised you guys, or I didn't promise, but I told you guys last year about a possible partnership between QuinOp and the Osborne Mint last year. Life happened. We had some things go on, selling houses, changing jobs, all kinds of stuff for me. So I have given Mr. Hipple my word, and I'm promising you guys that this year, going forward, our partnership will take off, and we're going to do some great stuff. Before I introduce Mr. Hipple, I will tell you the first time that we met, I bought a silver, I guess I would say round or bar from Silver Round. It honored American veterans, and it had a picture of American service members from all the way to World War I to now. It was in kind of a sequence. It was colorized, and you guys know how I feel about colorized coins, but this one needed to be colorized because it really brought out the service members that were depicted on there. It was an amazing round. I look at it almost every day because it's on my desk. Yeah, that was how my affinity or affiliation with the Osborne Mint started. I'm gonna simplify. Cody was a Marine for 21 years, so absolutely. So now I'm going to introduce Mr. Patrick Hipple. He works at the Osborne Mint. His title is
account executive here at numismatics distributors and wholesale for Osborne.
And you've been there for how long?
About 6.5, 7 years now.
6.5, 7 years. I'd love to give our viewers a little bit of the history of the Osborne Mint. Let's go all the way back. I did tell them a story about Abraham Lincoln campaign coins.
Yep.
How you guys had to do a special flex. If you want to talk about that. So let's talk about the history.
Not a problem. First off, hello, everybody. Thank you very much for having me back again. Greatly appreciated. Osborne Coinage has been around for 188 years. For the entire 188 years, based in Cincinnati, greater Dayton area. Been around since 1835. Started off as a small company, essentially doing coal scripts, doing stamping, things on those lines. Grew into eventually came in late 1800s. We started doing more campaign coins, things along those lines. As he mentioned, we did the campaign coins and the inauguration coins for Abraham Lincoln back during the 1850s and 1860s. The big story really is, back then, fashion was a thing. Didn't have computers back then. So he wouldn't push her going into his inauguration, he was going to wear his beard or not. So we actually had to make two dies, one with his beard, one without the beard. And we had to ask him 2 weeks before he got inaugurated, hey, which one are you doing here? Because we need to produce these coins. There's a couple other things there during the Civil War that we participated in. We were actually, and we have pieces of documentation of this, we were able to produce coinage for the U.S. Mint after the Civil War, or after South Seceded, I should say, not after the Civil War, but at the start of the Civil War. 3 of the U.S. mints were located down in the South, with the 4th being Philadelphia up north. So we were able to help supplement the Union, help them out through the war effort. Legend in the 1900s, where we became one of the largest producers of Appalachian scripts. We also did both OAP tokens, transit token, large providers in the United States, transit tokens. Regardless of who you are, you must touch one of our coins in one or another, whether it be numismatics, we use currencies for a number of different countries. We produce collector coins, gift cards, any one of the number of things for various multinationals. And you can find us on JNF, like any of your major distributors.
That is amazing. So I got a probe.
Please do.
Let's start with Abraham.
Mm-hmm.
So back in those days, the only way communicated was either face to face, telegraph, or letter.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys got about 2 weeks away from the inauguration, and you don't know if he's going to go beard or no beard. You guys must have been scrambling. Like,
I would like to speak to exactly how we were able to communicate and how we were able to get to him. Unfortunately, I have no documentation and I have no information about how we actually had to do it. We still have the dies today under lock and key. We actually still have a lot of the dies. We have the original dies I just mentioned, one with the beard, one without. We have campaign coins. Plus we have lines, different dies from McKinley, Taft, a number of other things.
that was my next question. So think about this. They still have the actual dies from the 1860s and sort of inauguration and his campaign. Could you guys just imagine in a normal business model, right? When you use something in your business, you probably don't keep it for 180 years or 150 years. But the historical significance of Abraham Lincoln, not only who became a president, but became a president that led this country through the most tumultuous time in our history, where we almost broke apart, to a president that was unfortunately assassinated. And you guys have the original dies that you used for his campaign and his inaugural point.
Yes, we still have the original dies. I see somebody on there about making copies as a possibility in the future. I will say at some point during the turn of the century, the 1900s, first part of the 1900s, somebody did actually take one of the dies and digitally restrike.
Really?
And so that die has a crack in the middle of it now. And since then, they've been under lock and key and nobody's allowed to touch it.
Wow. So what about C?
At some point in the future, that is a possibility.
I got to tell you, Patrick, if there was ever a chance that, the opportunity came available where Osborne was going to do some kind of a display or show and tell, I would be one of the first person in line to get a ticket, because I would just love to see those dies and then think about the history of Osborne in that little put this together. I can't imagine how many campaigns and inaugural were minted for those events, but I can't imagine very many. I don't even know if any survived.
Some of the ones I've survived, I've seen very few.
Right.
I couldn't, which is legitimacy as to whether or not there were copies remade.
Born.
That's my knowledge. I'm happy with the original. We have all the original dies. There's a couple of things we worked on. One through the files, found the original LPA dies. We'll talk about that here in a second. But at some point, there's the possibility of possibly seeing the dies. And if we were to do something like that, we'd probably start here at the Cincinnati Newsmatic Show. So just keep that in mind.
That would be amazing. Just to be able to see that piece of history. Now, probe you one more time. We're still in the Civil War era. So we had United States. 3 of them are downtown. Philadelphia. Now, obviously, I don't want to ask anything confidential, but definitely would love to let the Coin Op viewers know maybe a little bit of the legendary tales that might be out there about the midnight runs and stuff like that.
Things I would not necessarily be able to talk about. So, one of the things I would say, though, is that the things we will, that I can confirm, that I will talk about, much like the Abraham Lincoln dies, things along those lines, us being able to produce your investment during the Civil War, being one of the few presidents in this position, it's only because we have documentation. So there are a couple other things we do have minimal documentation, but things I do not want to.
Yeah.
So forgive me.
No, by all means. And forgive me for trying to probe.
No, that's quite all right. You always have to, I have reserved the right to say that.
I do. I feel, guys, here I'm thinking, this is just my military, from all my time in the military. I've been serving, and I know how things can get very chaotic, very, high pressure situations. So I can imagine in the 3 minutes downtown, which would have been Delonga, Charlotte, New Orleans. I'm imagining those have either gotten taken over or shut down. You've got Philadelphia to produce at a massive pace. I don't think we had the Denver Mint or the San Francisco Mint.
Not that way.
So we've got these mints that are trying, or the Philadelphia, trying to, pay soldiers and keep the economy going. And the fact that Osborne was looked to by our government as a Hail Mary of, we need some help. I think about how the government must have approached Osborne, number one. Number two, and this is where I was going, when Osborne finally produced whatever they actually ended up producing, we don't know, and Patrick won't tell us right now. Osborne had to get that to the government. And I can't imagine how that actually happened, but the stories must have been amazing.
Well, even during the War II, we just OPA tokens. Office of Price Administration. One of the things we do is right before the war was declared, when Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor, it was one of those situations where Osborne had just received a trainload of metal, which when we go into the war effort, we're no longer allowed to take that metal and use it for coins, things along those lines. So working with the U.S. government, the two things that we produced, that Osborne produced during the war effort, World War II, was Office of Price Administration, OPA tokens. They're ration tokens. They were actually these cardboard fiber, special cardboard fiber materials there. So that wasn't technically metal. We did take all that metal. We actually used to produce carabiners for the military.
I used the carabiner too in the military.
Yep, so that was one of the things. So we've always been good and essentially in help the war efforts. We're always.
What did Osborne keep, or were you allowed to keep, if any of the OPA tokens? And were you able to keep any of that?
OPA tokens. Actually, we have a collection of OPA tokens at the office.
Really?
We do have in one hand. It really depends on what letters you're looking for as to how rare they are.
When do we see them?
Anytime you come by.
All right. So that's the only one.
I think we don't know as that they had. One day I'd like to come down.
Of course.
Do it for, and we'll do it all. Get some video and just, give for my process.
Me?
From the inside. Nothing securely.
Always. We're always have people come out. Please just don't swing by the men. We do not let them walk in doors. You're always welcome to reach out to me in the office. Not more than happy to try a ring. And we can always discuss.
That's one of the initiatives. Y'all, one of the initiatives that we were going to work last year, we did, but we will this year. It's not. If this is an ironclad film, let's go. One of the initiatives we're going to work is we're going to go into the Osborne Mint. We're going to set everything up. What we can cannot film. We're going to talk about what we can and cannot talk about. And we're going to produce a video, more coin on the Osborne Mint. So you guys feel some of that 180-year-old history, so you can see whatever Osborne might let us see, that day. We're going to work out everything we can to produce just amazing, video for you guys of a mint that has been operating for 188 years. World President Lincoln's campaign in the inauguration, the Civil War. We're going to try and put down the ball and look at the guys that are locked. Of course, whatever we agree to. But that also leads to, where is Osborne now? Take your sir. Where is Osborne now? Welcome. What is Osborne working on, and what has Osborne got teed up for you?
So there's a number of things. I'm sure those of you who've seen the news recently, beginning of this year, Osborne, actually the Stegman family, who's owned the Osborne company for the last 80-something years, 80, 90 years. They've sold it to Andre McCaster, who is the longtime head of production for Osborne Coinage. And so we're still really young, still in the United States, 88 years old in the United States. And we did this in partnership with Well United. So this is something that's going to actually increase our capabilities and increase our ability to go worldwide. We already work with a number of nations, but this also helps a number of different areas that we're working and moving into. As far as what's in the future, we'll have a product line that launches here in about 2 weeks, the ANA.
Really? What do you see at the ANA?
We'll have today.
All right.
We'll have some new product lines then, but also in the future.
And it's at the Pittsburgh show?
Yeah, I'll be the Pittsburgh show.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, we'll spare money in Pittsburgh.
All right.
And from there on, you're going to see some more licensed items and see a couple other new products come out from us.
So at the ANA, we're going to see a new product line from Osborne that we obviously can't talk about today, but it'll be out. The ANA in Pittsburgh on what date?
The week of August 7th.
August 7th. So mark your calendars for August 7th, because we're going to see at the ANA a new launch in the Osborne Mint. And you may have spoken really, really rapidly. Who did you guys just partner with?
We worked with the Royal Dutch Mint and the Royal United Mint.
Royal United Mint and the Royal Dutch Mint.
Still U.S. owned, though. As far as Andre McCaster is now the new president and owner of the Osborne Mint. And it's going to take us to the next 180 years in the future.
Heck yeah.
Excited for it.
So, wow. Just wow. What are you doing here today and tomorrow's show?
We're here to support Cincinnati numismatic and to support the show. It's one of those big things that we firmly believe in. It's our backyard. We want to be here to support. It's also just trying to get the name out. We have a number of items that we're showing, current lines, new lines, like the new American Legacy extension, Three Musketeers. There's a Chernick line out there. Plus, also one of my favorite things I've ever done was for the new horror and the movie culture, things along those lines. We just did a new line of copper ingots based off the movie Metropolis. I absolutely love those. It's one of my favorite movies.
And what about the ancient strikes that you're doing?
We're showing doing demonstrations on ancient coin strikes, so that way everybody can have a look the way they used to do them from back in the start of minting.
Nice.
You know, by hand, using anvil dies, punch dies,
So
board ingots.
just so you guys know, the demonstration that they're going to do of the ancient coin strikes, we're actually going to video for you. And we're going to put that video out so you can actually see how some of those older practices worked, and we'll get that out so you can be here. That's incredible.
It's a lot of fun. It's one of those great times to be able to get in front of a bunch of people, see old friends, and these all new plants. But also with all the kids, all the new people out in this industry and the business. It's just great to be able to see these old ways and be able to show it's done originally. If we ever have you out, we also have some presses, drop presses, things along this line. So it's just fun to see it.
I can't wait to cannot wait to see the presents.
Yeah.
And trust me, we'll figure out logistics, what we can film and can't film. If they're going to let me in the presses, I'm going to do everything I can. You guys see the pieces. Yeah, now that we're able and I've changed careers from working 24/7 as, being behind guy, got a 9 to 5 job. I can't wait to actually go into logistics of our business. The time we're going to spend with you at the Osborne Mint, I just can't wait for that to, I can't wait personally to see the history because I'm a history fan, but I can't wait to bring that to our subscribers. Any rounds, any things you want to mention?
Right now, we announced that new here, but at that point, there's going to be all going on. We'd be more than happy to come back and talk about some of the possibilities. Again, reaching out to everybody out there, please give us a call and have you. All our items you can buy online at Gcne Bullion, X Provident,
Does Osborne have their own individual website?
We do not sell directly to consumer. But you can go to osbornemint.com and have a look at our different series and things that are out in the market.
Okay, so that's very important though. So Osborne Mint does not sell direct, but they go through Gcne Bullion, AppNext, stuff like that.
Money metals.
And whatnot. But what you can do is look at the Osborne Mint. Osborne Mint's now on my list. But you can look at what Osborne Mint offers, and then you could go to Gcne Bullion, Money Metals, AppNext, and get some of their products, or you can come to a coin show. And I got to tell you, some of the stuff that they have put out, it just blows my mind. And I want to see the Metropolis copper ingots because I love that movie as well. So definitely, if you have some of those here today,
Yes, we do. We have this on display, and don't be more than happy to show.
yeah, that'd be great. And if you either when we come over to video the strikes, maybe tell the videographer about the copper ingots, because
We'll do.
yeah. Patrick,
Thank you, everybody.
thank you so much. I can't thank you enough for the time. I can't thank you enough for the friendship.
And thank you very much for having us on. And yeah,
well, the partnership,
definitely.
my friend.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Look forward to take care of yourselves, and we'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Thanks, Patrick.